I wonder if somebody can be born without a belly button, or the more medically correct term, a navel. That navel, I wonder if they can just lose that entirely. And that'd be cool. Maybe the lines in your hands too. That would just be a fun thing to witness. I would love to see somebody without lines on their hands. Alyssa Liu. Now you're probably wondering how I know how to say that name correctly. Well, I can tell just by not doing much research that she is definitely Chinese. I can 100% tell you based on her last name. If you don't know, the last name Liu is Chinese. If you see a Daniel Park, you safe bet that's Korean. You see a name like Takeda or Sanada or Yukimura or Nobunaga or a name of that variety such as Madara, you might assume that made Japanese. The way Asian phonetics with names works is very specific. It's very easy to tell the differences. Also, she looks Chinese. My guess, and this is just a guess, she's American Chinese. That's my guess. I didn't look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm 100% correct. 100% correct. Don't know who this woman is right here. Don't know who this woman is right here. She is indefinitely the Olympic gold medal champion. She is amazing. And I have been enjoying witnessing and watching what it is. Now, I'm not that big into figure skating. I don't really care about it. It's not something that I actively follow. Same way I don't follow horse racing or anything of that variety. I just don't follow these things. But when something in the culture forces me to look at things, such as Umamasume, which has forced me to look at horse racing, this woman right here has forced me to look at perhaps the worst side of the internet that I've ever seen. Memes such as this talking about how beautiful and amazing she is. And oh man, she's so pretty. She's so breathable and submissive. And then there's this one. Oh, this is great. And then there are so many other memes about talking about her, not even talking about her accomplishment, just by virtue of how much of a woman she could be. See, this is my big issue whenever this happens. It happened with Kim Yeji. You probably don't know about Kim Yeji, South Korean shooter. Kim, there you go, Daniel Kim Yeji, South Korean shooter. This woman right here, she ended up shooting, boom, 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 and people only talked about, whoa, that could be my wife. Didn't happen with Yusuf. This is Yusuf, by the way. If you don't know the Turkish guy that shot, this is Yusuf. He's an amazing shooter. This is the guy here. If you don't know about these people, I keep up with these names because I remember they are big moments in cultural impact for me. So they didn't happen with this guy, but it happened with these two women. It happened with Kim, and it happened with Alyssa. Why is that? To me, this should have been a clean moment, a pure distillation of everything sports are supposed to represent. The machinery of culture isn't grinding its own axes in the background. When that happens, a young athlete, very young, at the peak of precision, discipline, and impossible balance, standing at the top of the world after years of falling on ice, waking up sore, repeating jumps until muscle memory ingrained inside of this woman. That should be the story. That should be what's going on. That is the story. That is the headline. That is the thing worth talking about. However, the conversation drifted so downward, so wildly downward. You could feel the center of gravity shift from skill to something more familiar, far more tiring to talk about. Hate talking about it, but I love talking about it because it allows me to talk about much more important issues. It's far more revealing about what we actually value when we claim to be celebrating achievement. All we care about is womanhood. On a quick aside, this didn't happen even slightly with Simone Biles. You Simone Biles, remember her? Remember this black woman? Nobody even slightly sexualized her. Now I know what someone man's gonna say. Oh, but well, what are we talking about? You don't want to be sexualized, but we didn't sexualize Simone Biles. That's because you hate black women. I don't even know. I have no other better way to describe this other than you hate black women. That's it. Welcome to the real world. I know you hate black women. I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid. I know. If Simone Biles was some white girl that did the same things that she did, then you would be all over her saying, whoa, she's perfect. Didn't hear any amount of this from Simone Biles, only from Alyssa Liu. That's it. That's all I got. That's pretty much it. Instead of breaking down her edge control, her rotation speed, her program construction, the free flow state that she did, the technical vocabulary that actual skating fans use to distinguish the greatness of it. I'm not a skating fan, but I learned this stuff. You could have talked about this. You know what became a topic? Her size. Her softness became the talking point. Her cuteness. Oh, how cute she is. The way she carries herself. Oh, look at her smile. Oh, look at her smile. If she took that little piercing out of her lip, oh, that would be great. This would be amazing. She took pronouns out of her bio. This is pretty cool. It's so many things going on and on about this person that I'm beginning to understand how quick misinformation can spread throughout the zeitgeist of public social media. It is really bad, probably the worst thing to ever happen. It is exhausting, genuinely exhausting, how quickly excellence in women gets filtered through desirability, how the metal shines and somehow the spotlight bends towards how she looks under it rather than what she did to earn it, the achievement is so secondary to the packaging, the years of sacrifice, reduced, the years of sacrifice, simply reduced to a single question about whether she fits someone's private standard of attractiveness. I am grossed out. I believe she's 5'2", and I didn't research that. Everybody just kept saying she was 5'2", so I'm guessing that she's 5'2", because that's the most common metric I see over and over again. She's 5'2", and people say, oh, she's submissive because she's so 5'2". She embodies femininity because she's smiling, and women, all you gotta do is smile, women. Come on, all you gotta do is smile. All you gotta do is smile. Come on, she's so gentle. Oh, it's so great. And it sounds so harmless when you first hear it, right? If you haven't been ingrained into the culture for quite some time, all these words sound so harmless and worthless and nothing burgers. So complimentary. The kind of thing you might say to someone without thinking too hard about what the words actually mean. It quietly reduces a world-class competitor, someone who just performed at the absolute peak. This is the absolute peak. This is the Olympics of human physical capability. You put them into some weird fantasy template, this projection screen, a character built to soothe male insecurity rather than a human being who just conquered the most demanding stage in her sport. That shift in wording, it steals oxygen from the achievement itself and replaces it with something that has nothing to do with the ice or the jumps or the years of invisible work. The athlete disappears in the archetype of submissive reader woman that takes the place of what the athlete is. And there's a deeper trend that goes on beyond this entire thing. I had mentioned Simone Biles, and Simone Biles is able to live in her achievement because people view black women as inherently masculine, so they don't really care about what they say about her. They're not going to view her as hyperly sexual. They're going to say she's too muscular. They're going to say all these things. Simone Biles is very short, same as Alyssa Liu, but Alyssa Liu is a Chinese woman and submissive and breedable and all this other stuff. And there's a pattern here. There's a pattern here that runs deeper than one athlete. It's deeper than one sport, deeper than any single moment of coverage that goes sideways. A woman's skill is always something along the lines of a hobby or third in the hierarchy of public attention, right? Think about any skill, any trade a woman does, whether it be crafting or sewing or knitting. Oh, those are hobbies. She can't make money from those things. Whether it be soap making, those are trades, by the way. Those are trades. Everything I just mentioned, those are trades. Behind two other categories that somehow matter more. A woman's skill, not anything else. It's not a hobby. A skill comes third. First comes beauty. That's the assessment of physical presentation against whatever standards currently define value, whether it be back in the day, way back in the day when Aphrodite, back when the standard was bigger bodies, and then about 20 years ago, it was small butts and small waists, and now it's big butts. Everything changes. I always switch the pendulum over and over again. Second comes relational value. Whether she is attached to a man or imagined as attachable to a man, whether she can be positioned within someone else's story rather than standing at the center of her own. Only after that, if there's room left, do we circle back to the actual craft, the actual achievement, the actual reason anyone's watching in the first place. That ranking feels embedded in the culture so tightly, so deeply that people barely notice it happening in real time. It's just water finding its way downhill. I'd like to show you somebody real fast. This artist right here is based out of Phoenix, Arizona. They do art, and I mean, they do wildly good art. And this is their Instagram, and this is their name right here. They're an amazing artist, right? Outstanding artist. They do more than this, though. They weld. They're a welder. They've been featured in many magazines as well. And also, they've taken up boxing. This is a very strong, powerful, prolific woman. And these are the only things I really want to talk about this woman. That's it. I don't want to talk about the achievements and skill, and that's all I want to talk about. That's it. However, whenever I bring her up, people say, oh, well, she married, or is this going on? That doesn't matter. That's completely unimportant. That is wholly irrelevant to the entirety of this. Happened the same way when I bring up anybody else when it comes to that. You see in this how it echoes and how Kim Yeji was talked about during the Olympic shooting events. The same pattern played out with different athletes in different arenas. The focus drifted towards vibe, towards aesthetic, towards coolness, towards how she looked holding a gun rather than how she held it. Discussions bloomed around how she felt rather than how she executed, around the image she projected rather than precision she demonstrated. And when personalities like Yusuf happen, this guy, the framing tilted towards fascination and character building, and all these comics and things of that variety, towards constructing a persona rather than analyzing a skill. We are so in love with the fantasy narratives that we craft that we often take away the humanity and personality from the people around us. It is such a dehumanizing tactic to do in a world that you want to be standout in your own skill. So you learn these crafts and skills and trades and techniques only to get reduced to a facsimile of what you actually are. This is so horrifying, and I hate this method so very, very much. It's the worst thing that I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I do not like it. I do not like it at all. I don't. It's so deeply uncomfortable for me to watch elite female athletes get folded into internet archetypes, reduced to character sketches that have nothing to do with the actual accomplishments. The quiet girl, the icy beauty, the disciplined daughter, the future wife. These labels attach themselves faster than analysis of footwork or trigger control, faster than anyone can direct the conversation back to what actually matters. It becomes less about how many hours she trained and how many sacrifices she made, how many times she failed before she succeeded, and how she can fit into some private mythology about how women should be. Other women should follow this example. And this does damage. This damage accumulates without anyone noticing until it's too late. Young girls watching these conversations unfold. You know what happens when they watch these conversations unfold? They learn. They learn that, okay, even if they become the best in the world, even if they achieve everything they've ever worked for, their bodies will be parsed before their statistics. Their faces will trend before their footnotes do. They learn that their faces will be judged before their records are read, and that their value will be assessed through lenses that have nothing to do with their accomplishments. If you're ugly and this happens, oh, that's bad. That's bad. They learn that accomplishments exist inside of a cage built from expectations about softness and attachment, about beauty and desirability, about fitting into stories that were written before they were born. That lesson lands quietly and stays. It becomes part of how they imagine their own futures. That's what happens. This is bad over and over again. If you wish to celebrate women properly, it requires discipline from the audience, the kind of discipline that athletes themselves demonstrate every time they step into the ice or onto the range. Requires to choose to center the map, the aim, the grind, the bloodless repetition that built the moment, the years of invisible work that produced visible excellence. It requires resisting the urge to turn champions into fantasies, to replace real people with archetypes that require less thought and offer more comfort. A gold medal is a declaration of supremacy in a craft, a statement that cannot be reduced to questions about appearances or relationship status or how neatly someone fits into predetermined categories. Let it be that. Let skill take the first seat for once. Let the conversation for just a moment be about what they did rather than how they look doing it. That would be so nice if we could finally have that in the conversation. I would be so happy with that. But I keep seeing this over and over again, and it's very baffling and agitating and annoying. Well, hey, thanks for checking out my channel. Let me know your thoughts about the Alyssa Liu situation, essentially. Have a lovely day or night wherever you're at, and I'm out. Peace. Bye.
Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.